Shalom friends, welcome back to learning the Hebrew Alef-Bet. In this tutorial we are in tutorial number 9. We're going to be learning two new Hebrew characters, the Nun and the Gimel. Before we get started though, let me clarify some mistakes I made in the last video. I'm going to come over here to the bottom left hand corner. First, I mentioned that all Hebrew likes to follow this pattern of a consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel, so on and so forth, and rarely does it like to end with a vowel mark. In other words, where you have a letter with a vowel mark beneath it or to the side of it. And for right now, although that's pretty much true for right now, or at least for the words we've looked at, we haven't seen anything which ends with like an AH, an ah, like I said, like in Sarah or something like that. But when we get into conjugating verbs, that's going to change a lot, and I just wanted to make a mental note under that. From right now, it kind of looks like we're going consonant in the beginning to consonant in the end, as if the word is entirely encapsulated with between consonants. But later on, you'll see that that'll be broken. The other thing was, I had showed you the word arba, which is the letter 4 in Hebrew. I spelt it wrong. It's supposed to be Alef, Alef, Resh, a Bet, and then the Ayin. So you've got both the silent letters in this. And I think I did, let's see, something like this, Arba. Okay. Just wanted to clarify that real quick, because in the previous tutorial I used two Alefs, and actually it's the last letter is actually a Ayin. Okay, for the Nun and Gimel, the first letter we're looking at here is the initial or medial Nun. We've already seen the final Nun. So if Nun appears at the beginning or the end of a word, the beginning or the middle of a word, it will use this form. And here again, that constitutes the equivalent to the English N. The next letter is the Gimel, and you notice that it looks very similar to the Nun, and it constitutes the letter G, or G. G in like a hard G, not like the G that sounds like a J, such as George. Like I said, there really is no letter for that in Hebrew. Okay, so now for practicing in these in the block script, the way you can see that they look very similar, the Nun and the Gimel. So the way I recommend is you would start each out like you're writing a Vav. Make your Vav, and then for a Nun, just bring a horizontal line across. For the Gimel, you'll make a Vav, and you kind of put this little foot, or whatever you want to think of that as, a toe or a foot, like that. Practice that until you can distinguish between the two. There's the Nun again. Do the Gimel once more. And you might sometimes see the Gimel like that, but for now, just bringing it straight down like that will work. And then one last Nun, and then we'll go on over to the handwriting script. So be sure to practice the block script, and like I said, it might be a good idea to come behind me in all these videos, and where I'm using handwriting script, you just switch it over and use the block script for everything until you get used to using both of them. I'll say this also as well, an easy way to the Nun in the handwriting script, you can write it just the same like that, or you might see it more rounded like this. That's probably a little, typically I'll do like that, and that would be a Nun in the handwriting script. For the Gimel is a little bit different. It kind of looks like a C, but with a little stem on top. You might see it this way, or you might see it more like this. It looks a little bit too much. And then finally the Nun again. An easy way to remember the Gimel is think of the Hebrew Alef-Bet. The first four letters is going to be Aleph, and if you look over here to the left, notice I've been putting all of these in the order that they appear. So Even though we haven't learned them all, we're kind of putting them in the sequence that they appear. So the first letter in the Hebrew Alef-Bet is Aleph. The second one will be Bet or Vet. The third is Gimel. Kind of, if you think of Roman, or I guess it was Roman, the Roman alphabet will follow a similar pattern as the Hebrew Alef-Bet. So Gimel and then Dalet. So it's kind of like you're skipping from A, B, you're skipping the C to the D. Remember the Aleph Bet, very similar to A, B, although the Aleph is not an A. It's like I said, it is a silent letter. But the Gimel in the handwriting script, remember, it kind of looks like a C. So that's one easy way to remember, and then the Dalet. And so Gimel is going to be your third letter of the Hebrew Alef-Bet. That's one easy way to remember the handwriting script version. If we go over to exercise 4, practice with our vowel marks. We get na. We would just have the nun, the pata down below. Ge would be the zeri. Na again would be with the chamats. And you might have heard me before out calling this chamats. We'll see there's a letter in Hebrew called a chet that gets that kind of back of the throat. It's a guttural. I think it's more accurately pronounced like kamats, more like a kamats. But nu will be the noon, u vowel mark. Go will be gimel with the cholam vav, and then gu would be like that, and then no would be the noon with the O vowel mark. For exercise 5, these are some very simple Hebrew words using both the nun and gimel. Ger means stranger, so we would have a gimel, the zeri, hard A vowel mark, and then the resh, and this stranger. Probably going to run out of room on writing these names down, but gam, very common word in Hebrew. Gam, the pata, final mem, and that means also. Ner is going to be the nun, the zeri vowel mark, and then a resh, and that is that is candle. Gan is going to be your gimel, pata, then the final nun. Remember, if nun appears at the end of the word, we want to use that straight line. That is garden. Goi is the gimel. Let's see, we got a cholam vav, and then we're going to end that with a yud. And here again, the yud is kind of picking up the vowel mark off the, well, we can think of it that way, kind of picking up the vowel mark off of the previous cholam vav here. We'll hold off on explaining that till we pick up the yud again. But goy means nation. We looked at Bain earlier, and this is the plural form, which is Banai, and so we have a bet. We got two consonants next to one another, so we're going to use the silent shva, the nun, and then zeri, the hard A vowel mark, and this is going to be the plural form of children, like children. Sometimes you just hear like sons, like Banai Elohim would be sons of God, or we typically translate it to that. Banai Israel, well, like children of Israel, that sort of thing. Lanu is going to be a lamed, a kamatz, a nun, and then u vowel mark. And we could think of that as like our or us. We're going to learn all those what we call those pronouns later on. For exercise 6, these are some longer words using the nun and the gimel. Okay, so ragleinu is going to be we're going to have a resh, pata, gimel, silent shva, lamed, hard A vowel mark, and then we're going to see, I think we're going to have, we'll have a yud here, and they will work in conjunction with one another, those vowel marks. We'll come back to this in a little bit later. This is actually a very common vowel mark together, the yud and the seri. Although we haven't seen it yet. And then finally the nun, and then the u vowel mark. So this right here is very common, a very common ending, and what this means is our feet. So you see that when we looked at lanu right up here, meaning our. Typically, you'll see that the last part of that nu on the end of a word referring to a plural. Would that be plural first person? I believe. Yeah, that's okay. So to try to quickly finish this up, menagain. Let's come back to that. Let's first go to menagain. The reason I did this, well, I'll show it to you in a second. Let's first spell it. So we got a lamed. We're going to put a silent shval there, a nun, patah, gimel, hard A vowel mark. I believe that's it. Lenagain. This is a verb, and this is your root word. This means to play, as in to play an instrument. The infinitive part the to part is denoted by the lamed. So, and then the root part of that verb is nagain. Here we skip back to menagain. This is built off of that, and basically this is plays. So this would be like your present tense. And certain verb forms, you'll find that not all of them, but some of them will begin with a mem, mem in one of the conjugations. So we'll just put it looks very similar. We're just replacing the mem for the lamed, and na and that would be like he plays or he plays an instrument. So this is to play with respect to an instrument, not necessarily a sport. And then goal, that just means redeemer. I wanted to introduce you to the verbs because you're going to start seeing that more and more when you get into your conjugations. Finally, the goal, we got a gimel, o vowel mark, and then here we have an alef, hard A vowel mark with a lamed. I believe that is right. Let me check real quick on my spelling. I'm pretty sure that is correct, and yes. So that means redeemer. And that is the gimel and the lamed. Okay, so very easy to remember. They look very similar to one another. Just remember, as far as the handwriting script, but they look similar to one another in the block script. In the handwriting script, the gimel kind of looks more like a C with a little stem on the top. And hopefully I didn't make any mistakes in there, but we will go ahead and go into the next tutorial, and we're going to start I'm going to start introducing more of these where you have root words with endings on them, or let's say beginnings, suffixes and prefixes, because they'll add to the meaning of the word, and you'll start seeing this more and more. It'll start making more sense. Alright, see you